Hello NE students, welcome to the e-transfer laboratory. In today's lab session, we are going to conduct the experiment on determination of thermal conductivity of a liquid, and we will find the thermal conductivity of SAE 40 oil, which will be commonly known as 2T engine oil of 40 grade. Let's try to understand the experimental setup. So in this experimental setup, there will be a liquid chamber of diameter 180 mm and height of 12 mm. And this liquid chamber will be filled with the oil whose thermal conductivity has to be determined. The lower surface of the liquid chamber will be brought in contact with the electrical heater. By setting the required voltage and current, we can go for providing the required heat input to the lower surface of the liquid chamber, while the upper surface of the liquid chamber will be brought in contact with the water jacket. Water is allowed to flow through this water jacket at the constant flow rate of m dot w, and water is going to leave the water jacket at a certain higher temperature. So water will be entering at initial temperature of T5 degree centigrade, while water will leave the water jacket at a temperature of T6 or T0 temperature, and here the water is expected to absorb the heat from the upper surface of the liquid chamber because of heat conducted through the liquid from lower surface to the upper surface. In order to monitor the lower surface temperature, there will be two thermocouples T1 and T2, and when we go for providing the heat input to the lower surface, heat will be conducted through the oil present in the liquid chamber from the lower surface to the upper surface, and because of that upper surface will be get heated up and upper surface temperatures will be changed. These upper surface temperature will be monitored through two thermocouples T3 and T4, and when the upper surface comes at a higher temperature, and when the upper surface temperature becomes greater than the temperature of the water flowing in the water jacket, then the heat will begin to transfer from the upper surface of the liquid chamber to the water flowing in the water jacket, and because of that water will be entering at the room temperature, and as the water flows over the upper surface of the liquid chamber, it absorbs the heat from the upper surface, and it is going to come out of the it will come out of the water jacket at a higher temperature, that which will be T6 degree centigrade. Under steady state condition, heat conducted through stationary liquid is equal to the heat absorbed by the flowing water. This steady state condition will be used to determine the thermal conductivity of the liquid. So under steady state condition, we can go for equating heat conducted through the stationary liquid to the heat carried away by the flowing water. So heat conducted through the stationary liquid can be calculated by using the Fourier law of conduction, according to which Q conduction will be equal to K into A into dt by dx, where K represents the thermal conductivity of the liquid, while A represents the area normal to the heat conduction, and dt by dx represents the temperature gradient. While this heat carried away by the flowing water can be calculated with the help of thermodynamic equation, that is mCp delta T. So here m dot w stands for the mass flow rate of the water, while Cpw stands for the specific heat of the water, and T naught and Ti represents the inlet water temperature and outlet water temperature. So when these two are equated, we can go for determining the thermal conductivity of the liquid. With this theory background, now we will move on for understanding the experimental setup. So let me define the objective of the experiment again. So objective of the experiment is to determine the thermal conductivity of a liquid. So we are going to find the thermal conductivity of SAE 40 oil. So this is the main switch. This is the voltage indicator. This is the current indicator. This is the temperature indicator. And this one is the dimmer start which will be used to set the voltage and current for the electrical heater. and this is going to be the test chamber or the liquid chamber. So this is the front view of the experimental setup, where we can see the test chamber here. Okay, so this is the front view of the test chamber. So exactly at the middle there is going to be a copper, there will be a liquid chamber made up of copper, and this will be on either side of that chamber. There is going to be two plates, symmetrical plates, one made up of rock, another one made up of wood. These two will be used for preventing the radial heat losses. And this is the isometric view, and this one is the liquid chamber. And in this view we can see that there is, so this one will be the oil tank. This will be the oil tank, and this is the oil inlet valve. So first we have to fill the oil in this tank, okay, and then we have to allow the oil to enter the test chamber by opening this inlet valve. So this is the oil outlet valve. This can be opened if you want to empty the liquid chamber, and if you want to fill some other oil into the liquid chamber. But when we are filling the liquid chamber with the oil whose thermal conductivity has to be measured, then this exit valve of the liquid chamber should be closed. So now this is the flow control valve. So now we are trying to understand the water circuit. So there is going to be a flow control valve. By turning on this flow control valve, we can allow the water to enter to the water jacket. Okay, so this is the direction in which the water is going to enter the water jacket, and this is the direction in which water is going to come out of the water jacket. So when the water is entering, it will be at lower temperature, and when the water will be coming out of the water jacket, it will be at higher temperature, because as the water passes over the upper surface of the liquid chamber, it will be absorbing the water, it will be absorbing the heat from the upper surface. So, and also we can, before we conduct the experiment, once the flow control valve is set, we should go for measuring the flow rate. So flow rate can be measured with the help of a measuring jar and a stopwatch. Okay, so by using measuring jar and a stopwatch, we can go for determining the flow rate of the water, or mass flow rate of the water. So before we conduct the experiment, important observations to be made with respect to this experiment are liquid chamber diameter will be 180 mm or 0.18 meter. So this diameter is important in determining the area perpendicular to the heat conduction, and this thickness of liquid chamber will be 12 mm. This parameter is important to determine the temperature gradient. Now it's the time for conducting the experiment. So before we conduct the experiment, let's try to understand the procedure to be followed. Fill the oil. First we have to fill the test chamber with the oil whose thermal conductivity has to be measured. In this case, we are going to fill the test chamber or the liquid chamber with SAE 40 oil. Then we need to go for adjusting the water flow rate by using the flow control valve, and also we should measure the mass flow rate of the water with the help of measuring jar and the stopwatch. Then we should go for once the mass flow rate is known, then we should go for turning on the power supply to the instrument panel, and we have to operate the dimmer stat, and we have to set the required voltage and current so that required heat input will be given to the lower surface of the liquid chamber. Okay, once voltage and current values are set to the electrical heater, then we have to wait for 45 minutes for the system to attain the steady state. For every 5 minutes interval, we should go for recording the temperature of the liquid chamber. That is, we need to go for recording the lower surface temperature of the liquid chamber and upper surface of the upper surface temperatures of the liquid chamber. And when two successive readings, temperature readings are going to remain same, we can assume that the system has attained the steady state. Then we can stop the experiment and we can go for noting the 6 thermocouple readings. So first 2 thermocouple readings corresponds to the lower surface temperature of the liquid chamber, while T3 and T4 corresponds to the upper surface temperatures of the liquid chamber, while T5 corresponds to the water inlet temperature and T6 corresponds to the water outlet temperature in the water jacket. So then after noting the temperature values, we can go for setting different heat inputs, and we can repeat the experiment in order to know the effect of temperature on thermal conductivity of liquid. Now let's have a look at the experimental setup. So this is the oil tank. Okay, so this oil tank should be initially filled with the oil whose thermal conductivity has to be determined. Once it is filled, the cap of the oil tank should be closed. And then we should turn on the inlet valve here, and we should allow the oil to fill the test chamber. Then we need to go for adjusting the water flow rate through the water jacket. So we have to operate this flow control valve, and we have to allow the water to pass through this blue color pipe, and we have to allow the water to enter the water jacket, and through this brown color pipe water is going to leave the water jacket, and it is going to the drain here. So we can, by taking the exit pipe out of the drain pipe, so we can see the water flowing through this brown color pipe here. This indicates that there is a water flow occurring through the water jacket. And now we should go for measuring the water flow rate. Now it's the time for measuring the water flow rate. So we will try to collect 200 ml of water in the measuring jar, and we will note down the corresponding time that will be taken. For 200 ml of water collection, we will note down the time required, and by dividing the volume of water collected by time taken, we can go for calculating the volume flow rate. And once we come to know about the volume flow rate, by multiplying that volume flow rate with the density, we can get the mass flow rate. So now the water level has reached almost 200 ml marking on the measuring jar. Now we will stop the stopwatch. Okay, now you can see that it has taken around 43 seconds for collecting 200 ml of water. Now it's the time for turning on the main switch, and we will supply the electricity to the instrument panel. Initially, as you can see here, voltage and current both are 0. Now we will turn the dimmer start in the clockwise direction, and we are going to set the voltage and current. So we will try to conduct the experiment for 100 volts power input. We have set voltage to around 100 volts, and corresponding current value is 0.55 amps. So this is the temperature indicator, and in this temperature indicator, channel number 1 and 2 gives the lower surface temperature, channel number 3 and 4 gives the upper surface temperature of the liquid chamber, channel number 5 gives the water inlet temperature, channel number 6 gives the water outlet temperature. And this ambient temperature can be recorded through the channel number 7, but it's not required for this experiment. Once we set the required heat input to the electrical heater, next we should wait for a steady state for the steady state to attain. Once the steady state is attained, so for this experiment we came to know that steady state was attained after 45 minutes. So after 45 minutes you can see that the voltage and currents are still maintained at 100 volts and 0.56 amps. And the thermocouple number 1 is showing temperature of 34.5 degrees centigrade. Thermocouple 2 is showing steady state temperature of 36.2 degrees centigrade. Thermocouple 3 is showing temperature of 20.2 degrees centigrade. Thermocouple number 4 is showing temperature of 24.8 degree centigrade, while thermocouple 5 is showing temperature of so here thermocouple 5 is temperature is slightly varying in between 19.7 and 20. We are going to take it as 19.8, and thermocouple 6 is showing temperature of 21.6 degree centigrade. Once these steady state temperatures are noted, we are going to turn the dimmer start in the reverse direction, and we are going to bring the voltage and current to 0, and then we are going to turn off the main switch. Now the observed experimental values should be recorded in this tabular column. We had set the voltage to 100 volts, current to 0.56 amps, and heat input was 56 watts. So by multiplying voltage and current, we can get the heat input or the power input to the electrical heater. We got this as 56 watts, and lower surface temperature of the liquid chamber were obtained with T1 and T2 thermocouples, which are actually 34.5 degree centigrade and 36.2 degree centigrade, while T3 and T4 temperatures were 20.2 and 24.8 degree centigrade, which corresponds to the upper surface temperature of the liquid chamber, and T5 temperature was 19.8 degree centigrade, which corresponds to the inlet water temperature, and T6 temperature corresponds to the outlet water temperature, which is 21.6 degree centigrade. And initially we came to know that when we adjusted the flow control valve, it took 43 seconds for the collection of 200 ml of water. Therefore, by dividing this 200 ml by 43 seconds, we can get the volume flow rate. So with this tabular column, now we can go for doing the calculations. As already explained in the theory part, here we are going to find the thermal conductivity of the stationary liquid by equating the heat conducted through the stationary liquid to the heat carried away by the cooling water in the water jacket. So therefore it is important to calculate the heat conducted through the stationary liquid. This in order to find this heat conducted through the stationary liquid, we require the temperature gradient first, because we are going to make use of the Fourier law of conduction. So there we require dt by dx value. So in order to get that dt by dx, first we are going to find out what will be the lower surface temperature. Since there are two thermocouples on the lower surface, okay, we are going to take the average of the T1 and T2 thermocouple readings as the lower surface temperature, which will come as 35.35 degree centigrade. So if this is the liquid chamber filled with oil, then if this liquid chamber is having a length of 12 mm, then we have come to know about this lower surface temperature. We have come to know about the lower surface temperatures T1 and T2. Okay. And then we are going to find the average upper surface temperature. So average upper surface temperature can be obtained by taking the average between T3 and T4 readings, thermocouple readings. So that we are getting it as 22.5 degree centigrade. So therefore now we can go for taking T lower as 35.35 degree centigrade and T upper surface temperature as 22.5 degree centigrade, and over a length of 12 mm or over a oil film thickness of 12 mm, there is a temperature drop. Okay, this temperature drop has been calculated by taking delta T oil equal to T lower minus T upper. Okay, so this temperature drop was found as 12.85 degree centigrade. Means in the direction of heat conduction from the lower surface to the upper surface, there is a temperature drop of 12.85 degree centigrade. Now when we divide this temperature drop by this thickness of the oil, we are going to get the temperature gradient, and that value will be 1070.8 degree centigrade per meter. Once we calculate this temperature gradient, then we go for calculating the area perpendicular to the heat conduction through the oil. So that can be obtained as area equal to pi by 4 d square, because here it will be in cylindrical shape. So therefore diameter of this liquid chamber will be 0.18 meter. So by substituting the diameter, we can get the area perpendicular to the heat flow as 0.0255 meter square. Then by substituting the area value and the temperature gradient value in the Fourier law of conduction, we can go for calculating the heat conducted or the rate of heat conducted through the stationary liquid as 27.31 into K joules per second. So here we have calculated the heat conducted in terms of the unknown thermal conductivity of the liquid, that is K. So then we are going to calculate the heat carried away by the cooling water. This can be calculated with the help of thermodynamic equation mCp delta T. So here CPW of the water, that is specific heat of the water, is 4186 joule per kg Kelvin. Then mass flow rate of the water can be obtained by multiplying the density of water with the volume of water collected and then by dividing with the time taken. So when we substitute the density of water as 1000 and the volume of water collected as 200 ml, we need to convert this ml into milliliter into liter first. So we have used 10 power of minus 3 here, and then liter should be converted into meter cube. So again we have multiplied that with 10 power of minus 3. So by doing this we have converted milliliter to meter cube. So and we have substituted time taken as 43 here. 43 seconds. So after simplification we have got the mass flow rate of the water through water jacket as 4.65 into 10 power of minus 3 kg per second. And by taking the difference between water outlet temperature and inlet temperature, that is by taking the difference between T6 and T5 thermocouple readings, we noticed that there is a temperature gain of 1.8 degrees centigrade for the flowing water. So these three values can be substituted in this mCp delta T equation, and we can calculate that heat absorbed by the water is 35.04 watts, or in other words, in 1 second the flowing water is going to absorb 35.04 joules of heat from the upper surface. So therefore under steady state condition now heat conducted through the stationary liquid should be equal to the heat carried away by the water. So when we substitute heat conducted through the stationary liquid as 27.31 into K and heat carried away by the water as 35.04, so we will get the thermal conductivity of the stationary liquid as 1.283 watt per meter degree centigrade. So we can go for writing the result as thermal conductivity of the SI 40 oil is 1.283 watt per meter Kelvin at the heat input of 60 watts. So you can go for repeating the experiment for a different heat input, and you can bring the liquid at a different temperature, and you can go for comparing the thermal conductivity of the SI 40 oil at different temperatures, and you can know the effect of temperature on the thermal conductivity of the liquids. This completes the experiment. Thank you.